Infection and response is all about understanding the tiny organisms called pathogens that can make plants, animals, and humans sick. These organisms are everywhere, and some are harmless, while others can cause serious disease. A pathogen is any microorganism that enters the body and causes an infectious disease. Infectious diseases are also called communicable diseases because they can be passed from one individual to another. Both animals and plants can get infections from pathogens, and there are four main types: bacteria, viruses, protists, and fungi. Each type behaves differently and makes the host ill in its own way. Bacteria are tiny, single-celled organisms, much smaller than the cells in your body. They can multiply very quickly inside the body. Many bacteria make us sick by producing poisons called toxins. These toxins damage tissues and cells, which is what causes symptoms like fever, vomiting, or diarrhea. A good example is Salmonella. Salmonella bacteria can contaminate food such as chicken or eggs. When a person eats food with Salmonella, the toxins produced by the bacteria cause food poisoning. Symptoms include stomach cramps, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever. Viruses are even smaller than bacteria and are not actually cells. They cannot reproduce on their own and must invade the cells of a host to multiply. When a virus infects a cell, it uses the cell's machinery to make many copies of itself. Eventually, the cell bursts, releasing the new viruses. The damage to the cells during this process is what makes a person feel ill. A common example is HIV, which attacks the immune system. When HIV infects a person, it destroys the white blood cells that normally help fight off infections. This makes the person vulnerable to other diseases, and without treatment, it can progress to late-stage HIV infection or AIDS. Protists are mostly single-celled organisms, but more complex than bacteria because they are eukaryotes. Some protists are parasites, meaning they live in or on another organism and cause it harm. Many protist diseases are spread by vectors, which are organisms that carry the disease without getting sick themselves. For example, malaria is caused by a protist that is carried by mosquitoes. The mosquito picks up the protist from an infected person or animal and then infects the next person it bites. Malaria causes repeating fever episodes and can be fatal if untreated. Fungi can be single-celled or multicellular. Multicellular fungi have thread-like structures called hyphae that grow into tissues of plants or animals, causing damage. Fungi reproduce by making spores, which can be spread by air, water, or direct contact. An example is the black spot fungus, which infects rose plants. It causes purple or black spots on leaves, leading to yellowing and leaf loss. This reduces the plant's ability to photosynthesize, slowing growth. Another example in humans is athlete's foot, which makes skin itchy, red, and flaky. It spreads when a person touches contaminated surfaces like shower floors or towels. Pathogens spread in several ways. Some are carried in water, like the bacteria that cause cholera. Drinking or bathing in contaminated water can make a person sick. Others travel through the air in tiny droplets when a person sneezes or coughs, like the influenza virus or measles virus. Diseases can also be spread by direct contact with contaminated surfaces or infected individuals, like athlete's foot or HIV. Understanding how a disease spreads is important for preventing it. Measles is a viral disease that spreads through the air via droplets from coughs or sneezes. People with measles usually develop a red skin rash and fever. Complications like pneumonia or brain inflammation can make it serious or even fatal. Most children are vaccinated against measles, which helps prevent the disease from spreading. HIV spreads through sexual contact or by exchanging bodily fluids such as blood. In the early weeks after infection, people may feel flu-like symptoms. After this, there may be no symptoms for several years. HIV attacks immune cells, making it harder for the body to fight off infections and cancers. Drugs called antiretrovirals can control HIV by stopping the virus from multiplying. Some viruses attack plants. The tobacco mosaic virus infects plants like tomatoes. It causes discolored patterns on the leaves, reducing the plant's ability to perform photosynthesis. Less photosynthesis means less energy for the plant, so its growth is affected. Fungal diseases like rose black spot produce visible signs such as purple or black spots on leaves, yellowing leaves, and reduced growth. They spread through water or air. Gardeners can control the disease using fungicides and by removing infected leaves. Preventing the spread of disease is often linked to understanding how it spreads. Keeping clean by washing hands, preparing food safely, and avoiding contact with infected people can prevent many diseases. Destroying vectors like mosquitoes, isolating infected individuals, and vaccinating people and animals are other effective methods. Vaccines protect the body by teaching the immune system how to recognize and fight specific pathogens. Bacterial diseases also require attention. Salmonella causes food poisoning, while gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted disease. Gonorrhea causes painful urination and thick discharge. It used to be treated with penicillin, but some bacteria have become resistant. Using barrier contraception like condoms and treating with other antibiotics helps control the spread. Practice questions. Question: how do Clostridium tetani bacteria make a person feel ill? They produce toxins that damage tissues and cells, which causes muscle stiffness and other symptoms of tetanus. Question: how could chickenpox spread from one student to another in the same classroom? The virus is carried in air droplets from sneezes or coughs, which can be inhaled by other students. Question: how is measles spread? Measles spreads through droplets in the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Question: name 2 symptoms of measles. Red skin rash and high fever. Question: How can HIV be spread? Through sexual contact or exchanging bodily fluids like blood, including sharing needles. Question: what type of drugs are used in the early stages of HIV? Antiretroviral drugs that stop the virus from multiplying. Question: name a plant that can be infected by the tobacco mosaic virus. Tomato plants. Question: why does growth slow in a plant infected with the tobacco mosaic virus? The virus causes discolored leaves that reduce photosynthesis, so the plant cannot produce enough energy to grow well. Question: what are the signs of black spot fungus on plants? Purple or black spots on leaves, yellowing leaves, and slower growth. Question: why are mosquito nets used in areas with malaria risk?
They prevent mosquitoes from biting humans and spreading the malaria-causing protist. Question: list 3 symptoms of Salmonella food poisoning. Fever, stomach cramps, vomiting, and diarrhea. Question: how is Salmonella food poisoning spread? By eating contaminated food or food prepared in unhygienic conditions. Question: how is gonorrhea treated? With antibiotics and using barrier contraception like condoms to prevent further spread. Question: how does destroying vectors prevent the spread of disease? It removes the organisms that carry pathogens, so they cannot infect humans or animals. Question: why would a patient be put into isolation in a hospital? To prevent them from spreading a communicable disease to other patients and staff. Question: how does washing hands after seeing patients prevent disease spread? It removes pathogens that could be passed to other people or surfaces, stopping infection.